I don't know if there's like an intro going on or.
There goes the awkward silence.
We never
There
know.
we are. Okay, now that the awkward silence is out of the way, happy Saturday, everybody out there in the Book Asylum, Written
Yeah,
Undead. All
now
the
that
groups.
the awkward silence is out of the way.
Okay, who's got the echo going?
Got a hot mic.
Every show.
Without fail. It would not be the Book Asylum podcast if something zany didn't happen to get the thing started. So let's try this again. I am Jack Childress. That's Kristen Vincent. Down here below me be Anthony Castro. Off to my side, that's Dungeondan Uebel. Over here, my main man, Angel Ramon, and Richard Ryan Rose. And boys and girls, do we have a treat for you today? Because it's not just any day. It's Mark Tufo Day. So, Mark, welcome back for the second time on the show. I'm still just as nervous as I was the first time, but I am rocking my peephole liquor shirt and shaking in it. So, man, what have you been doing, dude?
Well, the problem with being self-employed is you're always working, right? So
Yeah,
I just write and keep writing. You know, even though I got a book coming out Tuesday, you know, I've got 2 I'm writing at this moment. So,
Well,
you're basically a slave to the computer.
You are too, Ramon.
Yeah, pretty much. Now,
Yeah,
how many hours a day do you spend writing? Because I know people talk about having writing sessions. You know, so they allot some time to get some words down. I mean, do you have like a schedule, like you write from this time to this time, or do you just like, I think I'm going to go write?
I try to keep a schedule because I find if I leave it up to like, I'll do that later or I'll get around to it, then I won't. So there's about 4 hours of writing, but then, then there's 4 hours of email and correspondence and editing and read-throughs. And so definitely, it's easily 10, 11-hour days for the most part into a work day,
Yeah, and everybody thinks it's glitz and glam and all the fun stuff.
No, it's not.
Well, you know what I took away from that was I should quit my job and just go ahead and write all day.
Yeah,
If
it's
only it was that
funny.
easy.
I've said it before. It is funny how many people think this is a get-rich-quick scheme. Wow. It's like you're in the wrong field, my friend, if you think you're gonna get
Oh yeah, I agree.
Hey, I made enough in royalties last month to put gas in my Jeep and buy the groceries. That's a win for me.
There you
Yeah,
go.
That was good.
Yeah,
You're
Well,
on your way.
That actually makes me think. Now, Mark, you've been having some issues with your Jeep here recently, and you're trying to decide whether you stick with the Jeep or you get something else. Well, Richard has a Jeep too. Which year model do you have, Richard?
well, I have a 2010 the Sahara Unlimited, and my wife has a 2012 Rubicon.
Now, which one did you have, Mark?
I got a 2022 Willys Wrangler.
Gotta love those willies.
I love the car. I actually just picked it up yesterday. It's got an aftermarket clutch was installed, but I'm out right now about $3,100, and I'm hoping Jeep does the right thing and does the reimbursement like they said they were gonna. We shall see.
I'm on my second Jeep right now, but I don't. My first one was the Grand Jeep Cherokee. I just maybe 6 months ago picked up, and don't laugh at me, Mark, I got a Liberty. The price was right and I needed wheels. But I chose Jeep because they last forever. Even if you don't take care of it at some point, they just keep going.
I love my Jeep.
Yeah, I heard the same. I've heard that. Yeah.
Jeep and Toyotas. You can't kill them.
Yeah,
My sister's. Go ahead.
If Jeep doesn't do me right here, that's probably where I'm gonna go is Toyota. So I don't know.
The Forerunner, the Pre-Runner.
The Forerunner would be the one.
I know the Land Crusher is coming back next year. So
are they?
Yep.
Oh,
okay.
neat.
So I got a Jeep question, and I know I could Google this, but I'd rather Tufo this. Tell me what the hell the duck thing is. I've never known what this was all about, but I carry some.
I've got ducks.
Do you?
I don't know. I don't even all of a sudden people started talking about ducks. I mean, I don't even like the whole Marines and crayons thing. I don't understand that either. That wasn't a thing when I was in, you know. I probably would have beat somebody up if they said I ate crayons back in those days. But
Oh man, I'm so glad. I ordered some candy crayons. I was going to sit here and chew on them while you're talking. Now I'm glad I did.
No. Here now, I
That
don't
would've been
understand where
funny.
it came from. It certainly wasn't a thing when I was in the service.
I served Navy, so I knew all about the crayons. For us, it was the Cisco grease.
Oh, yeah.
Well, man,
Yeah,
let's get.
I was Air Force. I'm not familiar with the Cisco grease, and I'm not sure I want to be educated on that. So,
You know, I'll get you on a private message to tell you all about
I can't wait.
it. Plastics
Knowing
involved.
Dungeon, he'll give you the ins and outs quite literally.
There you go, Angel. Look at that. Piping in.
Oh, Angel knew what was up with that. Well, now, Mark, all of us, have our favorite things about the writings that, you put out there. Naturally, everyone's going to gravitate to zombie Fallout. Well, we were discussing, right before we went live, other things that we like so much. And like for me, it's Indian Hill. If I'm going to go back and re-listen to something for whatever reason, I guess maybe because it's a completed series, I go there because I love Jerbabon and, to have BT and Jerbabon meeting off with each other. Of all the series you've written, which one was your favorite to actually write?
So you're saying series, right? More than one book?
Yep. Yeah.
It was probably Indian Hill. Definitely because that was my first foray into writing. I mean, I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but I started writing that first book way back in college and finished it, like 20 years later when I found the half-finished manuscript. So that was kind of the one that threw me into this whole weird world I find myself in now.
So it actually
Awesome.
started with Indian Hill.
Yep.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah. Now, how
Sweet.
old were you when you first started writing that?
18.
Wow.
Yeah.
18. Wow, impressive.
So now, did Tracy influence any way, like to get you to actually start writing it again, or did you just take it upon yourself and go, you know what, I'm going to try to finish this?
She didn't there. When I found it, I was like sat down and I was just reading through it and I was like, hey, this isn't bad. Well, I wonder how it ends, So then I had to, that's why I finished writing it. And I probably wouldn't have done anything with it at that point. And that's where you insert Tracy. She was like, let's see if we can get it published. Well, we couldn't, we tried everybody that had an address, every agent, every freaking bookseller, every place we could send a manuscript off to. And, I've got a big giant stack of rejection letters. So, but she was the one that learned about self-publishing and then put it up with this stock crap image, the cover unedited. I mean,
Yes.
it was hot garbage when it first hit the internet, but we worked at it from there.
I got a question for you, Mark.
Sure.
Okay, so when you, I know, like it's like on one of your final zombie Fallout, probably your final zombie Fallout book before you started going back into the
Lost Journals.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned how when you first released Zombie Fallout that you had terrible reviews, you didn't have it edited, and it's just you had a really rough start. How did you get past that? What did you do to get Zombie Fallout from there where it's getting terrible reviews and everything to where it is now?
It literally happened like this. This isn't even author liberties. We had put Zombie Fallout up, self-published, unedited, like you said, getting just crucified with reviews. And I walked down to my wife's office. She had an office down in the basement. I was like, I've had enough. I can't take this. I'm not making enough in royalties to buy a cup of coffee. Why am I going to get abused from people on the internet? It makes no damn sense. I was literally walking up the 2 flights of stairs to go pull it off Amazon. And you've got mail back in those days. And
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I
We're
open it
old.
up. It's from this dude named Rich Baker. And he's like, listen, man, I know your writing style is raw. And don't listen to the haters. I love your stuff. You have a story to tell. Keep going. So it was literally an unbelievably timed email from one dude that was a fan. and that's where I kept going. So then, we decided let's get it edited. Let's get a decent cover. Let's see where we can go from here. And that's the origin story. And then it was about Zombie Fallout 3, where I started to make significant royalties to the point where it was like I was paying the electric bill. I could help on the mortgage and those kinds of things. And then like the next year was like the golden age of indie authors, and boom,
Yes.
I mean, it just blew up. And a lot of that I attribute to Sean Runette, actually.
Well, now, I mean, that's a big deal there with Sean Runette because, and I've noticed with other audiobook series that I listen to, whether it be Adrian's Undead Diary, Chris Philbrook, or Slow Burn, anything like that, having that narrator become the voice of your characters, if you get the wrong one, you could sink a series.
Yeah.
But if you get the right one, it just elevates it. It takes it to a whole new level. And man, Sean is Mike Talbot. He is BT. He is Tracy. He is Gambo. He is all of those characters. I mean, fully. And if you ever had to switch for some reason, it just would not be the same.
No, I'd be screwed. That's why I keep them chained in my basement now. That's probably why you guys can't get it.
That's why I can't find them.
Narrate my
Okay.
book, you cockadoodie.
So, Mark, let's get this question out of the way. Let's talk about the most beloved character in ZF and LF, the one everybody loves. Let's have a conversation about Timothy.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking love Timothy. Where did that character come from? Because I would hate to think you know somebody like this.
No, Timothy's one of those funny ones, man. People either love him or hate him, want nothing to do with him. I told this story before, but basically, I had a publishing house come to me and they wanted Zombie Fallout. They wanted the rights. And I was like, well, give me a number. And well, their number didn't have enough zeros, so I didn't like it. So I was like, okay, thank you. And then they came back and said, we will take any story you submit. And I was like, hold one. Any story? And they were like, any story. So I said, all right, give me a day or two. So sorry. About 3 days later, I was like, I got an idea. And that's why I wrote that first Tim. So I was like, I'm going to push this boundary. You open the door, I'm going to walk through.
Right. Let's see how far we can take this. And boy, did you.
Well, I was going to say now with the Tim series, guys, I've obviously listened to the whole thing. What is, I guess the ultimate question in it is, everybody that has turned into a zombie in Tim's situation to where he's like sharing a body, but where Tim can take control, they can't.
I'd like to say that Tim was a unique individual, that most people went the traditional route and were taken over by the virus, but Tim was such an asshole. He's like, no.
I'm not done yet.
Yes.
And I mean, what I love about it is you having Tim basically teaching the zombie to do things like, okay, we need to wash ourselves. Like, seriously, we're nasty. That's
Right. I didn't get through all the Tim books. I made it through Tim 1, and that's all I could handle. No offense. It was a great book.
Better.
Don't get me wrong. But that I don't do gross.
you could almost qualify the Tim series as borderline splatterpunk.
That's what I was
Extreme,
going
at
to
least.
say. Yeah,
Almost.
that's borderline
It took
splatter
the words out of my mouth.
Or Pornhub. I mean, you guys, junk fell off, for Christ's sake.
I'm all about the Pornhub, but
We all do.
but with that said, I mean, well, no, not Pornhub. It has nothing to do with that.
No,
But
don't worry.
so I don't even know where I was going with this. You said Pornhub, and I'm totally distracted now.
Totally
I
lost.
ruined it.
Thanks a lot, Dan.
Yeah.
But
Anal leakage comes up next, guys.
oh,
Hey, well,
great.
I'm going to try to.
Go
I'm gonna
ahead,
try to
go
put a
ahead, go ahead, Jack.
I'm going to try to put a cattle prod to Anthony over here because he's just now coming out with his first comic book, Bad Wabbit. So that makes me ask the question: have you looked into maybe getting some of the Mike Talbot sodes or something maybe done as a comic book?
We got there's one graphic novel on the Zombie Fallout world, and there's one for the Shrouded world.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I
They
got to go
never-
find those.
Yeah.
Hold one. I know this is great video, but
Nah, this is how we roll around here.
You know what? Yeah. Mhm.
There's the
By the way, Jack, his wall's better than yours.
I remember my question, but go ahead.
so there's
Oh, I
there's
got
the
that.
zombie Fallout, and there's the
Ah.
Shattered World.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Okay,
sweet.
yep, I've got to go find those. Those
Yeah,
have
the
got to
art
get
the
framed.
artwork's awesome. It's beautiful. The only issue was expensive to produce, and they never had
Yes.
really a good return on investment. So
Hmm.
Well, it makes unfortunately.
Well,
So-
I've been finding with
Yeah.
comic books that when it is very expensive to create one, it is, and you also have to really like it's like one of those things you have to constantly push. You know, it's not like you just put it on a shelf and forget it. You got to constantly be pushing it. I do cold calls almost every time I get a chance. I'll cold call comic book stores and try to get them to put my stuff in there, and it's just like, man, like it says it's working itself after the work,
yeah,
So-
and they're expensive to sell too. You know, they're not cheap. You know, I
No.
mean, this is little thin thing, and I think it's like I don't know. I think it's $12 or $14, man. That's
Yeah, this
not
is-
It's a
is
different
mine,
market, though.
and it's about $5 per comic. So
oh, that's a good price actually.
Mm.
yeah,
And
I mean,
I read
it's
the
not as thick
script
as
for the-
yours.
Yeah, I read the script for that first one, and it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, I actually supported it, Anthony, and I can't wait to read it and
Yeah,
I
I mean,
appreciate
to get my T-shirt and everything. I really love the project.
Yeah.
So you're working on book 3, right, Anthony?
I'm working on book 3 right now. Book 2 is already written. Chris Philbrook is edited the first, and he's going to be editing the second one. Hopefully, we keep him on and edit all of them. But my artist, he's already hit me up, and he said that he wants to actually get paid less so that he can, so I can pay him more steadily, and we can get this thing going. He really is passionate about it, and he wants to get it
Awesome.
going already.
cool.
So I mean,
Like
it's
to
got to
hear that.
be a good project and a good idea if my artist is asking to be paid less, so we can get
Yeah, unheard of.
keep it going.
Yeah,
awesome.
right?
Yep.
So Mark, okay, well, I remember my question now. So in regards to Tim, how come he didn't become a mindless zombie? How come he kept his wits about him? Or is that a spoiler thing?
No, it's not.
No.
He kind of answered it because Tim's just like, no,
Yeah,
like, you're just not doing this to me.
well, it would have
Okay.
been a short book first
Mhm.
off.
Oh yeah.
And then I just wanted to make him, his personality is so abrasive, and he just wouldn't succumb. You know, he was like, it was just another obstacle for Tim to overcome this virus.
Well, see, now that's one thing that would be a spoiler that I'm wanting to ask you about, but I'm just going to kind of be vague about it. But he doesn't necessarily stay in the same place. You know, he kind of starts to migrate, which is interesting in its own right. You know, when suddenly it's not just him and the zombie, it's him and the zombie and somebody else inside
Not
that.
really
head.
a spoiler though.
I mean, it's been out a long time. I mean,
You know,
you know, but you know, when he gets where his body's too damaged and he manages to go into another body, that is just that's other world stuff that I think you should bring back. Like, we need this to happen again, but with somebody else.
Well, so that's what I
Yeah.
like about Mark's books, because there's so many damn Walking Dead ripoffs out there, and it's the same damn story over and over again. I've preached this millions of times. You know, you've heard it before, but Mark has some unique approaches to the zombie apocalypse that it makes it stand out. I mean, when I was, and you know, I passed up. I used to listen to audiobooks. I got started reading or listening to audiobooks when I was stationed up in DC, and I would go home to visit my family every other weekend or so down in Tennessee. So I would listen to a lot of audiobooks, and I kept passing up this zombie Fallout. My zombie Fallout, what the hell is this? I mean, and then it kept popping up, you know, on my suggested reading list and stuff. I'm like, oh, let's check it out. And I mean, I was hooked from the first book on, and I'm like, and I was a huge Walking Dead fan. I'm still a Walking Dead fan. You know, I'm one of the few diehards out there, but I'm like, this is better than Walking Dead. This is way better than Walking Dead, you know? And that's the beauty of some of these, you know, the indie authors out there. They got better stories out there than what's
Yeah.
on the screen nowadays.
Yeah.
There's so much better. things
Eliza
out there.
was the hook for me.
I
when
love
she made that
Eliza.
first appearance, I'm like, fuck, what is this shit going on?
And kisses him on the lips like that.
Oh, I
like
know.
it was
It's
like,
fuck.
On the first book. Ugh.
So, Mark, you're like really fucking good at conversation, dialogue between
yes.
your characters. I mean, you read a lot of different books. We all do. You're like a master at it. How do you process that? Do you just have the conversation in your head and write it down as is, or?
Yeah, I wish I went to like Juilliard for conversations or something, but it just it's just there, man. Like it's so natural for me that I feel like everybody could do it, because I don't, like, this is no lie. I mean, I was in remedial English. Like I'm not, I don't have a great grasp of the English language, so
it's part of the charm of your books.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't find dialogue that hard to write myself, but it's not like the caliber, because I mean, it's just such a natural integration, conversation between characters that don't even exist. It makes them alive.
I love Mike and BT going back and forth with each other. I love those conversations. They're hilarious.
And Trip and everybody. It's amazing.
Yeah, because it's like it doesn't matter who Mike's talking to.
Right.
It's just great. It could be some general that he can't stand.
You feel like you're in the room listening to the conversation. So
when I'm writing like the main characters, any of the 24 or so main characters, I don't feel like an overseer at that point. I feel like I can be any of those people as they're talking. So I guess that makes it easier in that regard.
Right. Well, being a Marine is the other big issue. A lot of the books that I've read, I'll be pulled out of a story because they obviously haven't served. They don't understand how that interaction between military guys are. And obviously in your books, it's dead on because you've lived it.
Right.
And that's another thing I enjoy is it's like, it's back when I was on the ship. This is kind of stupid shit we would say to each other.
Yeah. I do dig the un-PC of the military world.
Yes.
I did do HR for a few years, and it was so difficult to be so vanilla with people, to make sure you didn't say anything that offended anyone. And that's not really my personality. So you always felt like I was tiptoeing through the tulips, kind of thing.
Yeah. I've never gotten past my cursing. I have to work hard at work not to use a curse word.
The best part about working in a warehouse, especially when it's just you and one other person, I can cuss my ass off and ain't nothing anybody can damn do about it.
Boom.
I'm on the phone, so I can't just go, yo, fuck tard. This is what you're supposed to be doing.
Try being a drill instructor. Try being a military training instructor at an officer training program in the Air Force and not allowed to cuss at anybody. You're allowed to yell at them, get in their face and all that good shit, but we couldn't use cuss words.
Oh, hell no.
Really? Even when you were teaching chair maintenance?
Yep.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Yep. Right back at you.
That's interesting.
I knew having like technically 4 branches of the military on here all at the same time was going to go great, because he hadn't said it, but Richard also served in the Army as well. So
Strike 2.
Yeah.
Ding.
BO, he can be with an IQ of 3. Yeah.
Thank you for your service, gentlemen. Everybody that was in, thank you for your service.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
All right. Well, I'm not going to even let us get to halfway before I give my homage to Mark. Because of this guy, I got back into reading. I read as a kid. I really loved to read as a kid. And I wound up years later just not reading anymore. Like I got into partying and being a typical teenager and then young adult and all that. And I just didn't read. And then I wound up with this major health issue and I get stuck in the hospital for a while. There's nothing on TV. I'm bored. Walking Dead had just came out. And a friend of mine was like, dude, man, you're into zombies. Check out this Mark Tufo guy. He's got this book right now. His first book of his zombie series is free on I can't remember if it was Kindle at that time or not. He said, but man, just get that, read it, see what you think. I'm like, fine. So I went and got it. dude, by the time I got past this, some asshole is licking my peephole.
Best line in book one.
It was over. I mean, I was in, and I have been in every since. So honestly, you are the reason that I read again. Hell, you're the reason that all that snowballed and became all of this. So without you, there is no me. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. And that's that line right there. If somebody likes that line, they're in for the series. If that's a turnoff for them, they can just turn around, get a refund, and walk away. But if you like that line, that is literally what you're going to encounter for the next 20 books.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the vinyl sticker that you sent me, which you sent me extras too. Thank you for that. But that's plastered firmly right on the back glass of my 1998 Ford Ranger for everybody to see. And I've had people literally walk up to it and look at it, and they're like, "What the hell is that?" Immediate. Let me tell you about Mark Tufo Zombie Fallout.
Free marketing.
And just straight up on it.
So I
got on the way, Jack.
I got a question from our Chris Philbrook.
Oh no.
Ask Mark why he wanted to see my pepperoni. Also, I'm sorry that I hesitated to show you my pepperoni. I thought I had more time.
He's on Cameo.
Mark, please.
He's on Cameo, so I dialed him up. Like, I paid to have him do a cameo for him. I said I wanted to see his pepperoni, and he never did it.
Maybe it's just because all he's got's a Slim Jim.
Damn, that's fired.
Oh shit, that was good.
Yeah,
I know.
One thing I got to ask for you, Mark, if you can maybe help me out here. I kind of have a major crush on Eliza, and can you tell me,
number?
Is she into old fat married guys? Because can you put in a good word for me?
Eliza's into anyone she can eat. So
oh well, okay.
Oh, then
yeah, she's gonna definitely suck on you, buddy.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I think a really
all the
good
characters,
chance.
Eliza's who you wish to hook up with, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
God,
Well,
her name is disturbing.
Her name is eluding me right now at the moment, just because I'm just so geeked out on everything. But Mike's sister is the one that I would not want to freaking marry. No.
If you wanted
Nicole, the one that can't cook.
The one that cannot cook. That's awful,
Lindsay.
man. Yes, Lindsay. Where did you?
Lindsay?
Was she based on someone you know in real life that you don't want to out?
My sister can't boil water.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Kristen, you are quiet.
I'm not lying.
Dude. Okay, so
No,
what
not.
is got because it has to be burned into your memory. What is something of hers that you kind of had to eat because it was the right thing to do that just almost sent you straight to the toilet to hurl?
When I was growing up, my sister was kind of delegated to take care of my happy ass, and I'm sure she was thrilled with that. But God, she would frozen waffles, and she would blacken those things. I mean, they would come out of the toaster looking like a coaster, man, and I had to eat them.
Damn.
I have a traumatic childhood, so
I was gonna say, dude, there's not enough. There's not enough maple syrup in the world to cover that. Like, ugh.
Yeah, there's only one thing worse than that. That's toasted bacon, Tony bun. That's the only thing worse than frozen toasted.
Angel's our resident bacon connoisseur.
Oh yeah, he's all about the bacon. Hey, got a question for you there, Mark. Okay, so you're working on Devil's Desk 2 now, right?
Yep.
And from what I understand, that was gonna be a one-off. Now you're doing a sequel, and you're also, liking Fallout 5 was supposed to be the last one. Now we're going into liking Fallout 6. So what made you decide to continue those series? Was it just like feedback from fans, or what?
Well, I mean, there was a little feedback from Devil's Desk 2. I'm sure you know, but series always do better than singles.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't like I was doing Devil's Desk 2 because I wanted to cash a check. That's for sure. I really dig the Yeti story, and I just honestly I wanted to revisit. I had fun writing it, and I was like, I want to do another one. And then with Lycan Fallout 6 now, that was easy enough to get back into because I had Mike and Azil's kids. I could do their adventures, you know. So that was a kick in the pants too. I really hope folks are gonna like it. I mean, I enjoyed the hell out of writing that book, and I personally feel like it came out really well. So I guess I'll know on Tuesday night.
Find out.
No
Yeah.
doubt. Well, like I said, it's going to be on my, Audible the moment it hits. So just
I'll
already know
pick
that's
up
happening.
the Kindle right away. As soon as it hits Audible, I'll grab it too.
Thank
Now, I
you.
liked
Oh, yeah,
Devil
definitely.
Desk.
I do too.
Did that get some bad review or what?
No, it's just standalones, at least in my world, don't generally I don't get giant sales from them,
Okay.
But no, as far as I know, it was well received.
Yeah, it was great. It had Timothy in it.
Yeah, that's one thing. Well, I guess I don't want to say too much, but
No.
yeah, we'll just leave that alone. We'll
All right.
Did
Let
I-
everybody
did
go
I do
get
a
it and find
spoiler?
out. Yep,
Yep.
almost close. Yep. Nope.
No
But everybody just
spoilers,
go get Devil's Desk so you'll be ready for the next one when it comes out, because this is a far cry from where we've seen Mike and BT and Tracy and the gang. I mean, you've got them dealing with something wholly different. But how did you manage to like bring Mike kind of down a little bit? Because man, he's used to dealing with bulkers and speeders and shriekers, or he's fighting a Drababon, or he's doing something like that. You kind of made him a little more human per se against this situation, because it's like one beast. Mike should have had that thing killed like by chapter 3.
Well, I guess it's a whole new situation for him. I would imagine he's still trying to get his feet under him. Maybe who knows what could happen in number 2,
Dun dun dun.
I mean, I might know, but
Well, now the thing is, towards the beginning of that book, you had the thing where like the side of the mountain like splits and there's the light coming out and all that. And is there going to be more about that? Like what was
Yes.
really going on?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I thought the message I was trying to convey was coming through clearer, but I guess some got lost in translation. As an author, we're alone on an island sometimes, and what we see crystal clear, other people are like, "What?" So,
What?
Yeah, and
yes.
I'm definitely I'm in the what community over here. Like, okay, what were we doing here?
Yeah,
Exactly.
there will be clarification. So,
Sweet, man, I can't
Yes.
wait.
Cool.
All right, so there's a reason what I mean. You can't really see it here, but there's a standalone Trinity
Oh, yeah.
that I have over here, and that one standalone standing up top is a book you signed and sent to me way back when. So if anybody's wondering who my favorite author is, all they got to do is come in here and look up at the wall. It's like, yeah, that guy right
I
there.
appreciate it, Jack. Thank you, man.
Dude, you're so good at this. It's like
Mhm.
one of those deals where you have a talent probably
Mhm.
all your life and you just don't know it. And then you finally really sit down and put your mind to it and go, all right, I'm really going to do this. And then boom, we're 20 books here and 6
Yeah.
books there.
Wow.
And like the spirit clearing, that one messed me up because
Yeah.
you spun that ending to where it was like, what just happened? Like I can usually figure out stuff before the stuff actually happens. That one did have me confused all the way to the end. I did not know what was actually going on.
Yeah, I did not
until
see that
you
coming.
said it.
Yeah. That was a very well written book, though. That was a great book.
Brilliant.
That's not even the type of book that I normally read, but I read it because it was written by
Yep.
you. So
Thank you.
I find
Yeah,
it
that
funny
one,
when
Now,
Go
Mark,
ahead.
I got a question. So with that being said, with all this talent, when did you start writing? When did you think about being an actual author? When did you start?
Yeah, I never,
when you started?
growing up, I've never, like, I wasn't like, I'm going to be a writer, mommy. I mean, those words
Right.
never escaped me.
Me neither.
I always loved reading. When
Okay.
we go to the library all the time,
Oh
big
yes.
family, didn't have a bunch of money, so it was always the library.
Yes, I remember the library. Yes.
And then it was in college. I took a creative writing class where the professor had us we either had to keep a journal or write a story, and that was the origin of Indian Hill. And I mean,
Oh, that's a good assignment.
That was probably the first spark, but it was like 20 years later when I pulled out those yellow pages on college ruled notepaper where I was like, I'm gonna write this. But even then, I mean, yeah, that was probably 2 books into Indian Hill. I mean, and 2 books into Zombie Fallout, and I still wasn't like, I'm a writer, So so it's been fairly new. I mean, I don't know, 10 years now, I guess. I figured I'd be a writer.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
an author.
Go ahead, Kristen.
So I haven't read any of your books. I am a huge zombie apocalyptic, like end of the world, love it. So I guess for someone who's never read any of your books, where would you recommend someone start? Because I know you've got different series and everything. Where would we start?
Well, as a zombie fan, I figured probably Zombie Fallout 1 would be the go-to. If anybody has a different opinion, feel free. But yeah, I mean, I kind of seems like it fits right there.
Yeah, I
It's a
just
great
picked up
zombie
book 1 and
series.
2 of Zombie Fallout. So
Yeah,
And
I
if you
highly
read it,
recommend it.
if you read a chapter and you're like, I don't know, then you have invested too much time, and you can go grab Chris Philbrook's stuff.
Well, I think it's more like the weather. If you've gone through a chapter and you don't know, just read another one. You'll be hooked.
Yep.
Well, that's how I discovered Chris Philbrook, was when I was listening to the Zombie Fallout series and everything else that you were writing. And then it came to the point where I listened to everything and waiting on the next Zombie Fallout or whatever to come out. So I'm like, well, what else the hell am I going to listen to? And so I ended up finding this Chris Philbrook guy in this Adrian's Undead Diary series, and I checked it out and got hooked on it. So yeah, he was it was great bouncing between you and Chris Philbrook there for.
Yeah, we kind of started at
Several
the
years.
same time. I was on Facebook or online or whatever, and all of a sudden all I'm seeing is like this Chris Philbrook, and this was about 5-6 years ago. Like, wow, this guy came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, we pretty much started at the same time. It was just he was trying to gain traction too.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the whole indie scene. Well, hell, just the writing scene in general. It doesn't have to be a competition, because like
Right.
Richard just said,
There's no tides.
and then you get to a point where you're caught up. You there's nothing new to read. You're there. You've got it all. You need something else, and there's so many great indie authors out there, and not just zombie. I mean, James Watts, who I just adore, with his Beast of Sorrows. That's the one that got me, because it's Puppy, and anybody that's read Beast of Sorrows knows what that means. I'm not going to say anything because that is a spoiler, but there's so much good content out there. It's just a matter of people being willing to step away, from their normal comfort zone. Because like one of the groups I'm in, man, everybody is so Stephen King, Dean Koontz oriented, which is fine because I like their stuff too. But the indie authors are just as good. There's so many, like Mark, like Chris, Richard now coming up out of, like you said, out of nowhere. And, he's just starting to, climb the ladder. There's so much good stuff out there, and why people get so narrow-minded about it and just won't open up and go, you know what? I'm going to try this other series, like Javin Bond's It's Still Alive series. Again, totally original, with they turn blue and get naked and they poop a lot and they run around biting people. It's just like, it's insane. And one thing I want to bring up real quick, my Javin Bond's poster for book 1 happens to have you talking about book 1.
I remember that. Yeah, it's Funny as Hell or something like that.
Yeah. Now, do you remember actually writing the I don't know what you even call it,
Blurb.
like
Blurb.
the blurb, like for his first book there.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I take those fairly seriously. I don't you notice I don't have a bunch of blurbs all over the place because
Nope.
No, because if I'm gonna, kind of direct people to read something, I want to make sure they're gonna enjoy it. I want to just have
Right.
Yeah.
Understood.
Well, just to let
Blurbs are
everybody out there,
important.
to let everybody out there that don't know, which most people do by now, thanks to social media, me, Javin, and Richard Ryan Rose there hung out with him this, past weekend, and
Only the
Looking good,
KC
Jack.
boys.
Looking good.
Yeah.
I came home with a souvenir because they decided it was a great idea to have the two most lit people go be in charge of the fireworks.
Oh no.
So
I did
we
explosive in the army, man. I knew what I was doing.
totally. Problem was he didn't impart any of that knowledge on me. So we're
Right.
sitting there with this mortar set up and these
Oh,
big
no.
freaking balls, and the fuse is like wrapped all around it.
Yeah.
Well, our explosives expert over here fails to tell me, oh yeah, you need to uncoil that. And so I've just got it like it is. And
Dude.
so I throw fire to it and it goes, and I let go. It hops back up in the air about right here and explodes and fires shrapnel right above my eye.
Holy
Split me wide open.
Man.
So Richard, who is the expert, is standing behind me, and I'm like standing there, and he goes, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "I got hit." And he said, "What do you mean you got hit?"
Oh, okay.
And then that's when I start feeling the blood going down my face, and I kind of turn and look back at him. I'm like, "And I'm bleeding." He's like, "Holy crap!" Drag me off, So I wound up laying on Javin's couch, like in his house. His brother is a nurse practitioner and just happened to be there. Now, correct me, because man, I was lit as fuck. Wasn't he still in his scrubs?
He was.
He was. I thought so. I thought I remembered that right.
Wow.
So he just
You were
he
nutty.
just gets all the gear. They cleaned me up, and he sat there, put 5 stitches in that bad boy.
Yeah, he had lidocaine and everything. Not like you needed it, but I mean, he still had
No.
it.
See, that is me living the Talbot style right there, baby.
I swear to God, Jack, you would be the first casualty in any war. Literally, the first guy that drops is going to be you.
You have no idea how to use a mortar.
He's like,
If you notice,
Jack
if
will be
you
like,
notice,
"Hey, is you supposed to throw the pin or the grenade?"
yeah, if you notice, I walked away and turned my back to the mortar tube as it
Chicken
came
shit.
out, so I didn't get hurt. I didn't just stand there looking at it like a dumb shit.
Yeah, Richard. I'm sure you handled artillery before, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, see,
Yeah, that's what I did for a
I
living.
think-
I'm artillery.
I think
Hey.
Jack might have learned from you a little better.
look, man,
I
I'll
wasn't
do
there to
anything for
educate. I was
entertainment.
fucking high.
Pure entertainment.
At least
Well,
you're
back to
honest.
Mark, you
He
fucking
had been down.
retards.
He'd been down in the gummies a little bit. And speaking of which, that's something you're kind of known for, man. Have you thought about like getting involved in the advocacy things, to like try to get cannabis more free to the rest of the world?
No,
that's a
come
hell
up with
of
the
a left
Talbot
turn.
strain.
Ooh,
Oh,
yeah.
Lordy.
Talbot weed.
I feel like I'm already stretched as thin as I can get, man, at this point in my life.
Yeah, I hear you.
This is how fandom works right here. We're like, no, but you could do this and you could do
Peer
this. And why
pressure.
don't you do this? And let's go do this. And
Mhm.
Have you ever tried making your own gummies?
We do make our own gummies.
Oh, really?
Pshaw.
Oh gosh, you and I need
How
to
would
trade
I
recipes.
order these said gummies?
Yeah, how much would they be to purchase?
I believe there may be some interstate crimes involved in that right
Not
there.
if they
Just saying.
don't know.
Well, if you believe the internet, it's legal to ship it anywhere. You just can't use it in certain places.
Well,
Yeah.
I made my own. I made my own with all the legal stuff that you can get at the local smoke shop, and yeah, I mean it didn't turn out well.
That's
but-
terrifying, Richard. You made
I mean-
your own with what you could get at a smoke shop.
I mean,
I'm
trust
surprised
me,
you could talk.
They'll put you on cloud 9, but
Yeah, it's wonderful. We got the little gummy bear molds, like when they're drying, we got like an army of gummy bears on our counter. I love it.
Now you don't go through and like look at them and go, "Ooh, you're going to be the first to die."
Yep.
Just mash them together and then eat them.
It's the one time you can't really sample much of your cooking at one shot.
Yeah, right. That would
Okay.
not end well.
Sure can
No.
try though.
Ever since retiring from the military, it's been a whole new world for me. I love it. I love
Welcome.
it.
Well, now, of course, I mean, hell, it definitely helps with the PTSD, having to put up with that
Mhm.
crap, so it
Yeah.
kind of calms you
I
down.
know.
And he was
Yeah.
already funny before, and now he's just a freaking riot. Except when he eats a brownie way too soon before a show. You'd have to go back in time and
And
go
he
find
just
that show.
stares. That's my
Mhm.
problem. I get too much and I just stare. I'm thinking in my head for 20 minutes. And everybody's like, dude, what are you doing? You've been there for like forever.
Well, you see my video going on and off like left and right because I have to lay my head down because I'm so stoned. But I'm okay. I mean, I'm just drinking beer this one.
Yeah, good move. Good move.
Yeah,
So
I'm
So
being
Mark,
responsible.
how much of your childhood experiences go into your stories? And I can give you an example if you want one.
Sure, I'll take the example.
Okay. I think it was Perfect Betrayal. Gary is explaining when Mike threw the very heavy Tonka truck, because they were heavy back then.
Oh, yeah.
And hit hit an attacking dog. Was that something that you really lived through, or did you just make it up?
That has partial truth. Yeah, a friend and I, we were little kids, and we were just playing in this yard, and I don't know if these dogs had ill intent or not, but they came out of the woods and they were running right for us, and they were barking, and they were scary as hell. We tossed a rock at them. Didn't hit any. No dogs were harmed in the making of this video. And then luckily they took off, but that was kind of, so there's some basis in truth for that story. Yeah.
Is it weird that I thought that might have actually been true? Well, like, I'll bet you he would do that.
What about the wreck? What about the car wreck? Is there any truth to that one?
Yeah, that one's pretty much all true, depending on which version you're talking about. There was
Well,
the
yeah,
wreck,
yeah.
it was the Cheech and Chong festival. Nobody died in a fire, so there's that.
No,
There's that. That's a good thing. Definitely. Because otherwise, right now, we're trying to figure out how are we talking to a ghost? It's like a major breakthrough. Oh,
he's dead and he's still releasing books.
Yeah. Talk about
I wouldn't be the
overwork.
first person.
all right. Well, my thing now is if I can find a way to get Moxie banned on the world, like ever and ever, would you be willing in return payment for that to bring Indian Hill back?
I will join the cause to help you ban Moxie if that's needed. I've toyed with the thought of bringing Indian Hill back, but God, I finally ended a series.
Yep. And then here we are as the fan. No.
And I feel like for me, that is the best ending I've done. Like I stuck it. I did the pommel horse. I did my flips in the air, and boom, came down and didn't move.
I hear that.
I'd hate to open it back up and people would be like, you should have left it alone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you ended it on a good note, but you left it open. But
yeah, I mean,
you did,
but you did, like he said, you kind of did leave it a little open. There's always that crack in the door, and I'm a little guy. I'm getting my pinky toe in there, and I can hold that damn door open. Like, hang on, hold up.
But,
No,
but at the same time, Jack, you don't want to be known as an author who doesn't finish a series either. That's no good either.
That's a bad thing. True, that is a bad thing. You don't want to do that. At least unless you have somebody, and that does bring up a morbid kind of a question, which I mean, I'm always going to have that one.
Yeah.
Do you have someone kind of in the wings that if something were to happen to where you couldn't, put the flag down, that could do it for you if something were to happen?
No, I honestly, no, I probably, if Chris Philbrook had showed me his pepperoni, I probably would have asked him.
You screwed it up, Chris.
Damn you, Philbrook.
Damn, Chris.
there's probably a few that could write in that vein. I think that would pull it off well. And Chris would be one of them. Possibly John O'Brien, Eric Shellman. But have I actually reached out and asked? No.
Okay. I was just kind of, because we've had that kind of happen here recently with Jeff Thompson, who was working on the Epic Mayhem series and his Guardian series, and his health turned south and we lost him, and I'm still not over that. But anywho, so yeah, that kind of does worry me. And, Richard bringing that up, it's like, man, to not have a finality to something, but at the same time, we don't want the series to end. So it's kind of a conflicting situation. Like
that's one of my concerns. Personally, that's one of my concerns, because with my heart condition, it could go south anytime, and that's why I'm trying to get as many bad wabbits out there as possible, because I want to make sure that everybody gets the full, scope of the story. I don't want to get into like book 3 and then fucking something happens and then there goes bad wabbit, So that's why I'm like, I pulled back from doing my fan fiction and all that stuff that I was doing, because I want to really just focus on Bad Wabbit and get as much out as possible.
Yeah, Anthony, whatever you're doing, man, you're doing it right, because I've seen ads and I've heard people talking about it all over the place. So
thanks, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud of Anthony. Yeah,
we all are. It's quite the achievement.
I can't wait to read it.
Yeah,
it's fascinating. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's the first installment of a big saga. So we're gonna go all the way with it as far as you can possibly. And I've also been talking to other people of other avenues of putting Bad Wabbit out there. I'm not gonna spill the beans, but I've been talking to people about games and stuff like that. So it's gonna be cool. So
nice.
Oh, and that makes me think too. Once again, thank you, Anthony. Just fired a spark off in my brain, which doesn't get many of those. Have you thought about trying to make a board game for like Zombie Fallout, and then like have the character pieces, Mike and BT and Tracy, and you had to move them around a board, or even like an RPG style,
or a video game for that matter?
Yeah, because David Simpson.
See, it goes back to that. It goes back to that thing. Like I have people like, you should make a Zombie Fallout movie, and it's like, what, on my iPhone? I don't have any experience. I can't even edit a YouTube video. So,
that's why you need minions.
I don't have the skills to do a video game. I a board game. I do my thing and I just go from there.
All right. Well, I'm going to say this: get in touch with David Simpson, the Zombie Road author.
Yeah.
Because he's getting his turned into a video game, a VR video game, and he might be able to help you get on a track to make that happen. Hell, actually, I'd like to see Indian Hill as a damn VR video game.
That'd be a good one.
Going into the fight arenas and having to square off against the different competitors and all that. Man, come on now. To get to fight Drababon, that would be insane.
There's one thing I don't know if you've noticed, Chris. I don't know how big you are into games, but it's that movie or the game Days Gone. I've noticed in that particular game, they have some of the same types of zombies that you have in your books. Like, but of course they have different names for them. Like, they have bulkers, they have they have shriekers, and just some of the different variations of zombies. I'm like, every variation of zombie that you have in your books are in this game, and it just kind of makes me wonder where they got the ideas. But
I mean, even if you look at The Walking Dead, they have certainly liberated a lot of things from a lot of different authors, not just myself, but
right.
I mean, that one season, they actually had a season where there was a BT for an episode. They had a zombie bomb truck where none of these things were in the comics. Now they have melders. So
yep.
And there's countless other authors that can be like, that was in my book too.
Right.
It's not like the little guy can take them on, And for what? What are you gonna say? Like I haven't trademarked melders.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing, because imagination it's hard to be able to prove right or wrong if someone just thought of this organically, or if they saw it somewhere and it made them think of something, or if they just straight up stole it. You know, I mean, it's like, you know,
imitation is a good compliment to a certain degree. You know.
Yep. Well, it's like titles, book titles.
Yeah.
There's so many books that have the exact same title.
Mm,
You know, I mean, like, because there's only so many ways, you know. Yeah, true enough.
Yeah, fuck
Well,
38
good. Then there's
Special for
gonna be
making
no-
a song, same name as my book.
Well, then nobody's going to be surprised when my new comic Bad Bunny comes out. So, Mark, I know we're getting close, Jack. I'm sorry, but I got to
go ahead.
Do it.
Go ahead.
You got any words for people just starting out in writing, want to try to accomplish what you have, creating characters and a storyline that people love?
I would definitely say if you can, the local college or even anything online, look into creative writing courses. If you do decide you're gonna self-pub or publish traditional, whatever, definitely spend the nickels and get an editor. You know, a proofreader.
Yep.
You know, those are pretty much the basics I can figure if you want to try to start off and be successful.
I know one bit of advice that you gave there on one of your live feeds was just write the damn book. You know, you can't call yourself a writer until you write a book.
There's so many people that they spend years prepping about how they're going to write this story, or how do I market? How do I market this book? How do I get the book edited? It's like, have you wrote anything yet? No. I want to make sure I can get it to a publisher. It's like, well, you can't send them a blinking cursor. You know, I don't
That's a great idea. Yeah.
You know, so first things first, you know, the horse and then the cart kind of thing.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Well, you gave that advice. I mean, you gave that advice, and that kind of inspired me to just go ahead and start writing, because I was like, I wanted to wait till I had a full story up in here in the circus, but I didn't, you know, and I had to.
It doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, I found out it doesn't work that way. I got it on there.
Philbrook has to remind me that sometimes. Stop putting the cart before the horse.
Things will come to you, though. Things will come to you as you're writing.
That's the thing. I start with one story and it turns into something completely different.
Yeah, I mean, some people do storyboard out, and kudos to them. That's a huge feat. And then some let the characters kind of drive it. You know, so whatever works for you.
Yeah, I'm definitely a pantser. Like, I just kind of sit down, I look at the screen, it's white, there's nothing there. And then I get the sense of accomplishment once I write chapter 4. And then the title of it's
done for the week.
We're good, let's go. But then I've discovered that I will actually procrastinate, which is the worst possible thing, until I actually write that first couple paragraphs. Once I get those down, I'm like, okay, I know where I'm going. And then I can start writing. And then I finish that chapter, and then I go blank screen. Shit. And then here we are again. And it's like I do the same process over and over again. But it's getting those first couple paragraphs down that I struggle with. It's like, start the damn chapter. You know what you want to write. Just write the damn thing. Like Mark is trying to tell you, pay attention to him. He knows what he's doing. Contrary to popular belief, he does know what he's doing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have found ourselves at the end of this episode, but it does not end Mark Tufo Day. Go get his books, all of them, even the Tim series. Go get it.
Definitely the Tim series.
Because you will learn a lot of stuff behind the scenes when it comes to that crazy clown. Man, figuratively and literally. Anyway, back to the end of the show. Kristen, Vincent, I'm going to put your quiet ass on the spot. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Amazon. I actually go under K Vincent with my writing. And you can find me on Facebook under Kristen Vincent Author. You can also find me on Instagram under, I believe, Kristen Vincent. You can find me on TikTok. And then you can also find me on my website as well, which is Kristen Vincent Author 1 Yeah.
Yeah, there. That place.
Website.com.
Nice.
Do a link in the comments.
Yep.
Kristen
everybody
writes
put
some
your-
good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, she does. She writes dark poetry, so, and she's working on a real novel also. So
Yes.
go check all that out. Let's see who to go to next. Let's see. Let's go. Richard Ryan Rose. Where can everybody find you, dude?
Well, you can find me on Amazon, find me on my Facebook page, Richard R. Rose Author, also on my website, richardrrose.com. Also Audible and iTunes. I just released my third book in the Wild Eyed Southern Boys series, Wild Eyed Southern Boys, Dead Cold War, just came out last May. Check it out. Getting great reviews. And some more Buford and Rube for you there. If you've been waiting on the boys to come back in town, they're here. So check it out.
And then they get their ass kicked by the Bear Baron. Anyway, moving on. Angel Ramon, what is happening in your world?
Oh, you can find me on Amazon, Angel Ramon, or if you want to read my historical knit RPG, it's Angelus Maximus. I will be finishing the book 2 of Pina Coladas and Rats.
Yeah.
And I'll be finishing that on Monday. And a couple of spoilers. Dungeondan gets bit by a centipede, he gets poisoned. So, yeah, I needed to do that to you. And Jack does get hit with a firework on his head.
Real life.
Like that'll ever happen.
Yeah.
He's not careless at all.
Yep.
Not at all. Not me.
So yeah, a couple of things to look forward to with that, and I'm looking for a mid to late September release of that, and the pre-orders are going pretty well for it. So I'm pretty excited to get it out to the world.
Fantastic. All right, Mr. Castro, I know for a fact that we actually got to a new tier on the Kickstarter there. So where can everybody go get on board on this awesome project?
Well, actually, the Kickstarter ended yesterday. So
that's right, it did.
We had 66 backers funded at $3,605. We have lots of comic books to be sending out, and in October, Chris will be flying down here to Austin, and we are going to be signing comic books together at 2 separate events. Originally, it was one, but one of the biggest local comic book stores hit me up and asked if we could do a meet and greet at their place.
Nice.
So now we have 2. One is going to be on the 7th. One is going to be on the 8th. It's going to be at Dragon's Lair Toys and Games here in Austin on the 7th, and at my sister's comic book store, Titan Moon Comics, on the 8th. So that's going to be fun. You guys can find me at dmwcomics.com. We have The Bad Wabbit.
Look at that. Look at that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, look
That's
at that beauty.
And it's going to be getting sent out to all the backers in October, and they're going to be on many shelves around town. So that's something I'm really looking forward to, and I hope that everybody goes. I'm going to try and send it across the country. So hopefully, if you guys got a comic book store near you, definitely let me know, and I'll try and get some copies sent there. So.
Well, just to let you know, I got one near me. I'm going to be popping in with them tomorrow because I got to go out and get these stitches out. So I'm after I do that, I'm gonna go in.
Say roll
looking
tide
all
one
gnarly.
more fucking time, Jack. One more fucking time.
You know what? I need a matching set. Roll tide, bitch.
I mean, I still have some leftover Roman, no, not Roman candles, bottle rockets. By all means, come to my house.
Oh God,
I
put him in his
will-
butt.
I'll give
He's
you
one of
a
those.
matching one.
I can't believe I made it through an entire episode. Oh, we didn't. To both of y'all.
take
All
those.
right, now. All right, Dungeondan, how goes the writing process, sir?
Good. I scrapped my ending again, but it's going to be better. It's a flow issue.
Don't overthink it. Jeff told us that don't overthink it.
I know, but when you read it through on that, when you're editing, and all of a sudden you're like, that shit don't work. Got to make it right. Mark
That is
won't read
true.
it otherwise.
That is true. That is very, very true. All right, I believe I got everybody in. You can find my short story, Domino, in the Word Peddler magazine. It's on Amazon. You can pick up an e-copy for like $3. or you can get the physical copy if you would like, and then mail it to me. I'll sign it, send it back to you. It's all good. And yeah, that's pretty much it for us. Now my
the biggie.
hero, my
Yes.
guy, my favorite author of all time. I
Yeah.
go seal mode
man of
right
the
now
hour.
at this point. Mark, where can everybody find you?
Usually at my home, but I don't. I would appreciate you not showing up there. That'd be weird.
Just
Yeah.
DM it to me.
If you're at the Jelly Roll concert, I'll see you there tonight. So
Oh, that's right. That's
Oh,
right.
Jelly Roll.
yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Tennessee original.
I love Jelly Roll. He's
That's
good.
that's a Tennessee original right there, baby.
Hell yeah.
I got a friend of mine actually knows him personally, hangs out with him.
Oh shit.
Pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
The Broadway rapper, Kai Hill Smith. Sure
Let's
enough.
get him
does.
on the. Let's get him on the show.
I can see what I can do. But now, real quick. So everything's on Amazon. You're on Goodreads. You're everywhere and everything. But what if somebody wants to get a signed copy?
You can just reach out to me, Mark_Tufo at yahoo.com or Facebook. Just look me up, whether my author's page or my personal page, and I will hook you up.
Sweet, because trust me, that one that's up there, that one's signed, and it's my most prized possession, hands
Thanks, man.
down.
I
Well,
appreciate it.
I mean, granted,
Oh,
now
my.
my Wild Eyed Southern Boys 3 with me on the cover it's right
Oh,
there, but
I
So you're on
understand.
the cover of a book, man. Come on.
but it's Tufo.
I
Come
know.
on,
Oh,
man.
okay.
Damn it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Seriously.
really
Tufo.
appreciate you being on the show, Mark. This was my first time getting to talk to you like this.
Yeah.
thanks for having me, guys. I
Yeah,
really
that's cool,
appreciate
man.
it. Thank you.
It's
All
great
right,
to have
well-
you on the show.
For Kristen, Vincent, Dungeondan, Uebel, Anthony Castro, Angel Ramon, Richard Ryan Rose, and the man of the hour, the guy with all the power, Mark Tufo. I'm Jack Childress. This is the Book Asylum podcast. We will see you next week.
Peace.
See y'all.
Take it easy, guys.
Yeah.
Gotta go.